So I am Caryn Azemoun. I'm a mom. Of two teens. I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old son. They both level up in June. With the college process, my son just accepted and pushed the button on the college that he's going to. So we're like, oh, thank goodness that is done. My kids are the best of friends, thankfully, but very different, and they each have their own nuances. We deal with, just to give you a little bit about what we deal with in our home, but we deal with dyslexia, and we deal with OCD, and we deal with anxiety, and we deal with depression, and we get involved with, we are allies and supporters of the LGBTQ community. And I always kind of say, like, I have two teens that are complex and are wonderful and amazing, and they still talk to me. So not sure what I'm doing right, but I'm really glad that I have them and they have me. I got a lot of really fun activities. I do ask that you participate as much as possible, so stay off mute when you can. I'm not opposed to people just throwing out questions. I have enough flexibility to go where you guys want to go. I have enough tools in my toolbox. I am a certified coach. I'm something called a PCC. It's a professional certified coach through the International Coaching Federation. I'm also a positive discipline parent educator, and we're going to be talking a lot about positive discipline today. That's where I get a lot of my tools so that you guys can take the tools. I always joke that when my kids were born, I didn't get a manual, but through these workshops, I'm going to give you guys enough information so you can build your own manual and go off and be the courageous, amazing, fabulous parents that you want to be. Build a relationship with your kid. These workshops are about fostering connections, building awareness, finding trust, and increasing acceptance of yourself and the relationship that you have with your family and your children. And teens are just another level of relationship. They are striving to pull away from us when we're going, oh my God, where are you going? I want my baby back. And it's like in a split second, they go from I'm sitting on your lap and cuddling and I love you, Mom, to can you not touch me? Like, I don't know about you guys, but I don't get hugs from my daughter anymore. I get leans. That's what I get. I'm like, hug me. And she's like, okay. I'm like, where is this baby that used to sit on my lap and like never let go of my shirt tails? But that's okay. Okay. So as I said, we're going to be talking about fostering connections. So this is about like no judgment, really sharing about yourselves, finding the commonalities, really listening to our kids and hearing what they say. We're going to be talking about increasing awareness, so understanding how they see the world, like the world that the kids are seeing these days and the world that we saw are two completely different things. There are words that were very okay for us to say, well, for me to say when I was younger, and now my kids are like, you can't say that, Mom. Like and pronouns and all of these things that were not a part of my world, maybe not a part of your world, but are absolutely in the forefront of our children's minds these days. They are socially and environmentally conscious children these days. Of course, thank you for asking about that. So we need, as parents, I'm going to say we need, but I don't really mean we need, but you have to parent. You're the parent, right? But what I suggest is let your children know that you are there for them. Let your children know that you can hold a space where they can come into your world, into your space, and share if they want, and or not. Like, but that's okay. You gotta let them know that the door is open for them. And there's several different ways, and you really have to, like, knowing who your child is and what they need helps you hold that space, right? I have two very different children. My son, I'm just going to go right to him and be like, tell me what's going on. And he'll go, no, no, no. And I'm like, come on, tell me what's going on. And they'll be like, fine, this is what's going on. My daughter, locked box. She's not going to talk about anything. So to hold space for her, I just have to sit near her. Her love language, and I'm not going to go into this a lot, but there are different love languages. My daughter's love language is touch. So to hold space for her, I just need to be near her. And if I stay silent near her, she ends up like touching my hand or like playing footsie with me. And after like 15, 20 minutes of that, she'll be like, so I really need to tell you something. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know? So that's what I mean by holding space. Talk about who our teens are and what their job, quote, is. Their job is to be independent, right? Their job is to make mistakes. Our job is to, and it's not easy to do, but is to let them go make those mistakes, let them go be independent and be there if it goes wrong and be there when they need to come to us. And I'll be sharing some stories because I am thankful that my kids make mistakes and they come and tell me. And that's how they learn. And that's how I know that they're making good decisions, because even if a mistake happens, they're still coming back and going, okay, that went wrong and this is how I handled it, or that went wrong and I don't know how to handle it. And those are just some of the ways that I hold space for my kids, and some of the ways that I am increasing my awareness of who my kids are and how I can build those connections with them. Building trust, right? Keeping your word in our home. And I don't think my husband and I ever really talked about this, but we always had the same commitment of we're never going to make false promises or false consequences, right? So if we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And if we say, hey, this is the consequence for this action, and they do that action, we're following through on the consequence. We're not big punishers. We're more, my kids hate this about me, but I'm more like a lessons learned kind of mom, right? Here's the life lesson. You screwed up. Here's the life lesson. Here's the consequences, because there's always consequences, positive or negative. So it's sharing about yourself. I'm going to give you guys some homework. Hope that's okay. We have a couple of weeks, so you got plenty of time to do this. But because we're talking about like making connections with your kids, all of the homework is going to be homework that you're going to get to do with your kids. And so really kind of getting them involved in all of this. You'll hear me talk about mistakes a lot. Mistakes are okay. I love mistakes because that's how you learn. And then finding acceptance, right? Just new beginnings. There's, like I said, there's new words that we weren't using. So recognizing the way our children are seeing the world, you know, how can you affect the outcome? Like there's this level of growth and independence. I talk often about like what's in our control and what's outside of our control. You know, we can say all the best things. My parents brought me up so well. It was like, this is right, this is wrong. Here's how you build trust. Like my parents did such a great job. And I was such a bad kid. I was such a bad teenager. I'm very thankful I'm sitting here today because I made a lot of really bad decisions. And my parents were amazing and always came from a place of love and logic and, you know, trust. And I still made those mistakes. So there's things that you can control and there's things that you can't. And even though I made mistakes, I'm sitting here in front of you talking to you about those mistakes and about how to kind of do it right. So mistakes are such a wonderful part of, like I say, I have up here, like honoring the past and accepting new beginnings, right? Modeling how you want to move your kids forward. Okay. All right. So just really quickly, I just want to explain what positive discipline is, because there's a lot of tools that I'm going to use from positive discipline. I'm going to throw in some things from Parenting with Insight. I'm going to throw in some things from Courageous Parenting and Caryn Azemoun and all this kind of stuff. But positive discipline started with Rudolf Dreikes and Alfred Adler back in like 1920, and it was based on the premise that everybody needs a sense of belonging and significance, including children. And this wasn't always popular way back when, that kids should be thought of about having a sense of belonging and significance. And it has these 5 points, and I'm not going to stress over reading these. You're going to get this deck, but it's all about being kind and firm, right? It's long-term modeling. It's the importance of social and life skills. It's teaching kids how capable they are and that sense of belonging and significance. And Lynn Lott and Jay Nelson really kind of took these Adlerian theories and developed positive discipline in, I think, like the 60s or 70s. And so I'm using a lot of their tools to share with you so you can build your manual. I want you guys, I will encourage, but this is really about what you're seeing. I want you to think about like what characteristics and life skills you want for your children. And this is going to be, we're going to do 3 different slides here. And this is going to be the roadmap for like everything else that we do over the next 5 weeks. Throughout the next 5 weeks, we're going to come back to this and go, are we looking at like, is whatever we're doing, building these life skills? We're going to go over life skills. I'll just show you. We're going to go over challenges, and we all have teens, and oh my gosh, we have challenges. And then the third one specifically for the teens is what challenges your teens are having, and some of these may be having to do with us as parents, right? Okay, so a little bit of homework for you. Okay. All right, I'm going to give you an option. One, like, don't be afraid to go to your kids and let them know that you're doing a parenting class. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, I'm doing this parenting class. It's a little scary. I say to my son all the time, I've never been the mom of a 17-and-a-half-year-old before. Like, so I don't understand everything, and I'm going to make total mistakes. And it's like, and you've never had a mom who's been a mom to a 17-and-a-half-year-old boy. And when your sister comes around, she's a girl, so she's bringing a whole bunch of new things to me. Okay, so don't be afraid to go tell your kids, hey, I'm taking a parenting class, trying to build a connection, really want to be there, want to be the best parent for me and the best parent for you, so this is what I'm doing. So one of the things you could do is called a family card. Go through old pictures with your teens, right? And talk about like the stories. Oh, I remember when we did this together, and hear their perspective. And then even ask them, like, what kind of parent was I when you were younger? And then what kind of parent am I now? And see how your style has changed, right? And you may find, like, I don't have a very recent picture of my son. I definitely don't have a picture of us together, because it's like, don't take a picture of me, Mom, like, whatever, right? And then, so after doing that, I was like, we're taking a picture together because I don't have one. And he's like, fine, right? But like, get a picture with your kids, right? Talk about what you're feeling. Find out what they're thinking about how your parenting is and how it's changed over the years. And then the other thing is get them involved in this process, right? So if we just talk about like listening, or you can pick like something else that you want to try and improve in yourself, in your parenting self over the next couple of weeks, and let them know, hey, I'm taking this class, trying to be a better parent. I'm trying to make these changes. Like, keep me honest, right? I'm going to try and approach things differently. If you see me falling back into like my old ways, oh, there she is doing it again, right? Just let me know so that you can be aware of what they're seeing. And in this, like, you're building a connection with them because you're going through it together. Even though they think you're going through it, you're really going through it together.